closing out a cycle on our lower selves, right? And so for me, this one's very exciting. It's exciting to speak about this topic because I have done this, right? And so to close out a cycle on our lower selves, I'll give you the example of how, like, let's say you're in a relationship, right, and you know this relationship is toxic for you, but you continue to get back with the person over and over and over and over again, right? I also have experience with that one as well, but through the grace of God, I've overcome that one too, right? So you close out a cycle, right? Then one day you're fed up and then you're like, I'm done, and you never look back and you don't go back to that toxic relationship, right? You closed out a cycle in that manner, right? Or I'll give you the other example of certain habits that we acquire specifically in our youth, right? Where we like to go partying, like to go to the club, we like to see the girls, right? Or the guys. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, I know you guys know what I'm talking about, right? We like to be at the strip club, you know, things like that, right? But then later on, you get older and that no longer satisfies you, right? So you closed out a cycle. So closing out a cycle on our lower selves, it's a bit similar to those scenarios, right? The only difference here is that you're closing out a cycle on your lower self completely, on your root, on your sacral, on your solar plexus, right? And that comes in with all that comes with that, right? And so this is an ongoing process, right? And just like in addictions, there'll be like relapses, and like, usually when we're trying to ascend, to rise above it, right, there are tests that come through that pulls us down, pulls us down, pulls us down, right? And it's our responsibility to become aware of it. Like after a few times that we fall into it, later on we start becoming aware of, like, oh, seems to be like a test. This seems to be the universe presenting to me the same thing from before to see if I will succumb to it, right? I had to take a sip of my tea. So, with closing out a cycle on our lower selves, what we do here is, well, usually when we decide to close out this cycle on our lower selves, the best way for us to do that, for it to have the most meaningful impact, is for it to not be forced, for it to be something that we truly desire and want, right? And so, usually, for some people who are like hard headed, like myself, we end up having to go through a lot of betrayals and a lot of hurt and a lot of pain and a lot of things repeating itself over and over and over again. That's why the tests that are sent in to see if we would succumb to the same circumstances, they become stronger and they break us at our core, right? So that's a way to, you know, close out a cycle with our lower selves, right? When we are in enough pain that we are able to say enough, right? Or we're able to identify the situation and say, I've gone through this before. This scenario here led me to a lot of things that I don't want to do again or go through again. So the answer is, it'll be a no for me, right? The other way is for our free will, for us to be able to, find messages like this and be like, maybe I should stop going to Janice. That's just an example, right? Maybe I shouldn't hang out at the strip club anymore. Like that. Right? So, closing a cycle on our lower selves requires our active participation in it, right? And our willingness to be able to do the work, to look at our shadows, right? So, when we look at the things, even the things that I mentioned earlier about, like, going to the strip club, seeing the girls, right? Or the boys, right? Partying, consuming substances, right? Even with those things, if we look at it, those things are needed in order for us to appreciate the peace that comes when we heal from it, when we realize that it was all an illusion, that we thought that we needed it to survive, that we thought that we couldn't be still at home, that we thought that we would never be able to live without the drug or all the alcohol, or without the girls or the guys, right? When we free ourselves from all of that and we are able to see ourselves living without it, right? Without any addictions, right? Without like the babe, without the drink, without the toxic friends, right? Without the toxic relationships. When we're able to see that, when we're able to see ourselves without it and be free without it and be okay without it and be content without it, we're able to appreciate the times that we thought we needed it, right? We could go back in time and say, you remember when you needed to have the babe all the time in your hand? Sometimes I find myself like that. I'll be driving and I'm like, wow, I don't have anything in my hand. I don't need to be sucking on anything. I mean the babe, you know what I'm talking about. Bye my love, be safe. I don't need to be doing anything like that, right? I don't need to be. Bye my love, I love you. I'm sorry, my oldest has a girlfriend. He's going to her house. I gave him permission. We're going to get back on topic. Closing. What is it? It's closing a chapter to our lower selves, or, yeah, I think that's it. Closing out a cycle on our lower self, right? And so that comes with a lot of shadow work, right? A lot of inner introspection, a lot of healing, a lot of going back, and a lot of identifying patterns, behaviors, traits, right? A lot of being opened to triggers, right? So at this point, we are seeing individuals in our reality as opportunities to heal, as opportunities to be able to see, why am I being triggered, right? Like, why is this bothering me? Why do I feel like I need this? Why do I feel like I can't say no? Why do I feel like I must respond? Situations like that, right? These are now opportunities for us to see how much growth we have sustained, or to see how much work we still need to do, right? So for me, because I was spiritually attacked heavily, right? I began to see the spiritual warfare when, psychic attacks were sent, and I would get into a position of, like, let's say, if the attacks were for me to feel hopeless or things like that, or to feel sad or depressed or insecure, or even when they did beauty spells, right? And I wouldn't see myself as beautiful, right? I started to go within. And so, although the beauty spells hit, and sometimes I would, like, have the things under my eyes, right? And I'll be like, oh my God, you look like you haven't slept, right? I started to look at myself from within. So whenever now they do a beauty spell and it reflects on the outside, when I look within, I love what I see within. So whatever is happening outside here really doesn't, I don't care, because I know who I am from within. So it doesn't affect me anymore. It's like, oh, another beauty spell, another death spell, another psychic attack now. It's like, oh, let's go pray. Oh, you want to disconnect me from the Most High? Nigga. Excuse my language. I'll be like, I'm going to pray. I'm reading the Bible type of scenario. But I went off topic, right? I do this. I need to get a script or something. I'll be back with more.